February 28th, 2026. You know, I can go over the laws repeatedly and how big of retards people are that fall for this. Even the cartel called the people helping out in this idiot people. In 19. Look at all the idiot people willing to help out in this. Call them idiots. Low educated. Hmm? Bunch of retards. Hmm? You know, where they say, oh, Melissa don't have an attorney. She has no legal basis. Oh, that church that has they don't have an attorney. They have no legal basis. You know what a real attorney would be telling them? Shut the fuck up. My God, you did what? You hired somebody, set up buying cameras watching her home? That's voyeurism. Illegal monitoring. You're going to go to jail anywhere from 7 to 15 years. You taped in the bathroom. You taped children go in the bathroom. That's kitty porn. It's 20. You had her drugged and you lied. You used sodium pentothal on her. Drugged her up and told her to say stuff. My God. That's 20. You trying to have her murdered? My God. Photoshopped washing in your stocking tapes? My God. You had her human trafficked, by God. They would be telling them to shut the fuck up. You're looking at 100 years in federal prison. See, these people are stupid. It's that Henry Maffei, the bill from the Freemasons, big scam. He's supposed to be Attorney Will. It's Dave's crack-headed girlfriend, Michelle, with the short blonde hair, showed up at Faith Family Church in January to March of 19 with the Florida drug cartel. How she was retired Judge Pete's daughter left. Oh, I'm actually FBI agent Will's daughter. No, she's Henry Maffei's daughter. I told you how to put all the dates together. Dave's crack-headed girlfriend, her drug-dealing dad, and dad to drug dealers, running scams on people. So delusional. He thinks he can scam money out of the government. And see, that's where a real attorney would say, you're a stupid scam of a dirty doctor. It's HIPAA. No doctor can tape you unaware. It's 10 years. No attorney can approach a hospital or a doctor. It's 5 years for the attorney. If the hospital talks to him, it's 10. If a doctor talks to him, it's 10. And then they release medical records, that's another 10. You're looking at 35 to 45 years federal prison for HIPAA. See, they don't know the law. They have no attorney. See, some ladies, after January 1926, when Henry Maffei came in and announced everything's him, okay? And Bob Evans and Fairlawn, okay? And then you put with what has been said, where he said, I was the one that got a hold of our line. Where right after the FBI case, some guy through Instagram texted me, I think you're beautiful. It's like, thanks. Then something about love on a beach. I don't know you. I go out to stores, people talk about him. And then he drives by with people are showing up saying that they're human traffickers and drug dealers. It's like, stalker? I don't know him from Adam. Here, it's that girl's dad. Dave's girlfriend's dad. His crack-headed girlfriend. And her drug-dealing dad running a drug scam to extort money from the government. You can never extort money from the government. The attempt of it is 20 years. Okay? Now, this ass and his friends where I go up in Fairlawn, that's the one her ex-husband, his ex-girlfriend, and her dad and his friends ran a drug scam on. Nobody say a word. It was Dave's girlfriend's dad and his drug friends. And a drug scam on me. That's who did it. Where he said, I'm glad I never met her. I'm the one that tells everyone that she's not good enough for another man. He said, I'm glad I never met her in person. I thought you wouldn't have got a pity date. Seeing her dancing around in the car with her husband. Acting like a little kid. Oh yeah, I was playing the MC Hammer, You Can't Touch This after I got done telling Carl, these people doing this to me, they need to realize they can never touch me. Okay? They need to embrace it. Yeah, it pissed him off bad enough where I'm saying they can kiss Agent John's ass, the FBI's ass, the judge's ass that signed the protected custody case, and they can kiss my government immunity, government protected informant ass. And it made him so mad. He came in and confessed. He said, seeing her dance around that car, the officers that work her case only watch her because she acts like a big kid. They feel sorry for her. They like me, and there's a court order, dumbass. And why didn't you think there was one in there recording you? Now, there's a real pretty Michelle with long blonde hair. She's been going badass on all of them and telling on all of them. Telling on all of them. Okay, December 31st, 25, Walmart 62, an investigator showed up. This whole thing was in it. Michelle showed up and told me that this whole thing was a scam to extort money from the government. Her ex-husband was involved. And that the doctor from before was not one of hers, works for them, and they had lied. She actually don't know who he is. And the guy Pete that's running his mouth about her, it's just some guy Dave hired on his own. She don't even know who he is. They admitted to using hypnotic drugs on her when they told her to say it before. And she has no memory of these people. And they admitted the tape of Weird With Yourself was photoshopped a washing in the shower. And they photoshopped it. And it's just a scam to extort money from the government. They're so stupid. Henry Moffitt said, I heard that Michelle's telling on us for what we're actually doing. Yeah, the doctor's not mine. HIPAA violations. You don't know HIPAA, dumbass. Don't know the right of privacy. You don't know it's illegal to drug somebody. Photoshop washing in your own personal perverted stocking tapes? How dumb are you? And what we're actually doing, they can't use it. Yes, they can. Oh, yes, they can, bucko. And he confessed that is exactly what they're doing. Got his confession. He said, her new husband, I told his son that I'd steal everything for him. He's the one that incited Rick. Dave's ex-girlfriend's dad. Drug dealer running scams on people. Okay? And I found out he was down there vandalizing stuff on that farm. I told him, stay out of it. I'll steal everything for him. Played with that stupid fool. And it cost him everything. Terrorizing me and Carl. Cost him everything. Okay? Where they said Will wanted that land. So he's Will. Okay? And I have a judge's friend that'll enter the tape of Weird With Yourself, the shower scene in the other room, and all the drug confessions, enter in court while the FBI is busy with Minnesota, and have everything signed over me, and I'll take all the case's money, and I'll be gone before they know what's going on, and I'll pull a fast one. Well, I told the sheriffs, and I wrote the White House, bitch. Well, a week later, Carl and I are back up in Fairlawn. Got to go, and Bob Evans were out in the parking lot. Two ladies walk out. How dumb are these church people? They need to realize how dumb they look. They admitted they had someone drug her up and tell her to say it before. And they said they could have someone verify it. The only thing they're verifying is they're part of having somebody drugged up and told to say something, and there was no crime. Do you realize how dumb they look? I know. See, I had a dog bite a year ago, and the personal attorney said for either a dog bite, any kind of personal injury, you have to have so much just to have a case. You actually have to prove you were injured. You can't just say it. You have to have pictures of the bruises and marks, or like the dog bites. Actually, I had embedded teeth marks. I had to go to the hospital, had to match up the doctor's report with the pictures I had, and then the treatment for the injuries. I had to notify the sheriff's office and prove that I did. And the dog warden had to be notified. I had to have all that just to prove injury. To prove responsibility, you couldn't have just a witness. You had to have physical evidence. I had to have the DNA on the coat where it bit through my coat into my arm and latched onto it. The dog slobber was still on my coat. She said, you don't have when I told her I had that, she said, now you have a case. You have to have proof of an injury with pictures and a hospital report. Treatment for those injuries. And then physical evidence the person or the dog did it. Otherwise, you have nothing. All they got is a roofie. That's how stupid it is. Okay. September 30th, 25, around 1 o'clock in the morning, a biker brought that Michelle down and was outside screaming. The guys running this said no one's allowed to say a word to her again in her life. They found out this whole thing was your dad to drug dealers. Your family's dad. Is that what's going on? Yes. Does she know who you are? No. I don't want her to know. If I knock on that door, she answers it. Will she know who you are? No. I don't want her to know. She don't even know you? And you had her skull bashed in, her raped and tortured because your family was in debt to drug dealers? Yes, I'm sorry. I listened to her and her friend Matt talk January 13th, 23, that the Ohio drug dealers were threatening that agent's life over letting those people be human trafficked. It was your family letting them be human trafficked? Yes. Your family even human trafficked people to pay off those drug dealers? Yes. I'm sorry. People are dead and she's sorry. She sold human beings for a drug debt and she's sorry. She's pure evil. Then he said, I found out it was your family inciting. Her new husband's family, that they could steal everything from him. Yes, but I really liked that farm. I wanted it. And he said, did you know, and I listened to September of 23, the original cartel already admitted they photoshopped everything. Did you know that? Yes. And they already confronted her ex-husband that where she was sick before, that it was fraud, medical malpractice, and medication errors. Did you know that? Said yes. Did you know that they encouraged them to sue those doctors for years? Yes. Within a couple weeks, I was down in New Philly, and we were in KFC, and there was an older couple talking to this younger guy, and said, "My God, we all knew all this whole thing was a scam for that poor family to pay back those drug dealers." And the whole thing was just a scam. And everybody was helping out that poor family to pay back those drug dealers they owed. And my God, that Michelle admitted her family human trafficked people to pay back those drug dealers. Nobody say a word to her again in her life. Okay. Now, I want you to think about this. They have ran around ruining my reputation because they're in debt to drug dealers. Trying to think that the government's so stupid. So stupid that they can walk into an FBI office. We had special permission to set up button cameras. That's illegal monitoring. Even the FBI would go to jail for being in your home outside a protected custody case with statements in a court order. And the police had told me that. Prosecutor's office, attorney. So where would they get their special permission? Dave hired him on his own. His girlfriend's dad and drug friends. They didn't have nobody's permission. And at the beginning of the case, they tried to tell everybody they had sodium pentothal reports. We had the right to drug her to get the truth out of her, whether you're drugging me and tell me say stuff. Yeah. Told you we moved in that new house outside Ravenna. And on the 6th day while we're out, somebody kicked in our door to the wall. Dave made up excuses not to report it. Nothing missing. It's probably a real to pass out case. They don't pass out case. It was in a lockbox. And we took it out of the lockbox the first day. Okay? That's when the button cameras were supposed to go in. By the second one, now, when we got up there, the well water was orange. Okay? We had brought in bottled water to cook and drink. But you have to take a fast shower. You have to wash your hands after you go to the bathroom. Took us a couple months to get it in. By the second week, I got bruises all over me. I am throwing up. I have a severe personal infection. I'm going to the doctor. What on earth is wrong with me? I thought the well water was giving me the personal infection and get, some kind of toxic water, give me cancer or something. And I'm blaming the well water. Never seen her talk to anybody. I take a shower, dry off, get in bed, wake up with orange, lemon, grapefruit, size bruises all over me, throwing up. In fact, I go to the doctor. What is wrong with me? Is it the well water? And did you fall? No, maybe you're coming anemic. Nobody thought of a rapist. There was times I'd wake up and I'd be fine. I'd go outside and work. And I come in, wash my hands, make a sandwich. I drink a lot of Diet Coke or Diet Pepsi. I had 2-liter pops to save money. And I poured a glass of Diet Coke and went in and used the bathroom. Wash my hands, come out, take a drink. In the room and go to the black, same thing. Wake up, oh, I don't remember bringing my arm or leg. And the room would be spinning. And I never had anybody in my home. And predators getting in there and stabbing you with hypnotic drugs, they take 45 seconds to work. They leave a horrible metal taste in your mouth. You can't get out. And no memory. You're sleepwalking for hours. There's a whole list of them. What they finally admitted they used on me. They called them mind-controlling drugs in 1950 in the church. They could control anybody. My coworker Dar was at a bar. Her friends had took her out for a friend's night out. One of her twins died at birth. And she got a babysitter for the surviving one, and she's bawling her eyes out. They gave her some space. Her friend said that when they were keeping an eye on her, but she's sitting over there sobbing. She took a drink, she acted a little happy, then went back to talking normal. She doesn't remember anything after that. Nothing. They said a group of people came up they didn't know, and because she was talking and acting fine, she left with them, and they didn't think anything of it. She found herself in a puddle pee outside. She got home, she was really sick. A couple months later, she went to the doctor. They said, "You're pregnant again." She said, "How can I be pregnant? I've not had sex with anyone." They had raped her and redressed her. Said it's not that I don't love my son, but I don't know what happened to me. I met a U.S. Marshal's daughter. I went to a storage unit in 24, and I couldn't find the right unit, and she was nice enough to help me. And I said, "Well, it looks like you're moving out." And she told me she had went to Jersey's bar. She took a drink and the room went dizzy and black. She don't know what happened to her the whole night. She waited a while longer, went to a different bar, same thing happened. She was moving out of the area for safety. My neighbor, Mike, they did it to him too. He came up to me one morning. He didn't know how I got home, didn't know how I got out of the bar. He didn't know how I got money in his pocket, how he changed his shoes, or what he had ate. Then he tried to look at me and tell me he was a New York cop and thought I was pretty and asked me to go cuddle. I'm like, go sleep it off. He is stoned out of his mind. You know, it's not like anybody didn't know of amnesia drugs. Dear God, in the 1960s, they had LSD and acid. We're, what, 60 plus years more? And now they got even prescription drugs and high doses cause it, and hypnotic drugs leave you in a hypnotic state. Carl's daughter, Audrey, and her husband, Gary, were watching it on TV. They were showing how hypnotic drugs work. Okay? Right. And they wanted to show how much they could control you. This guy was willing to let him run an experiment on him. They must have injected him or something. And they told him, "We want you to go empty out your bank account and bring it back to us." He did. They said, "You watch his face, his reactions were a hair off. A hair. And just because we knew what we were looking for, you could see just a smidge off on him." And when it wore off, he said, "Well, what happened?" And they laughed at him. Had no memory. They said on that newscast that drug cartels were going to raves, big parties, walk around with those injections, pick out which kids they wanted, stab them. And that way they wouldn't fight them. And they live willingly with them. It's sick how these drugs they have now that the cartels can get a hold of and use on victims. And, you know, I went to the doctor all summer long of 18, kept blaming the dirty well water. And here, it's my ex-husband's girlfriend's dad and his drug friends having me drug being raped. My own home. And nobody thought of a rapist. And I'm going to the doctor with bruises everywhere and giant ones. I thought I was dying. Lemon, orange, grapefruit size. They almost ruptured my intestines beating me so hard. Severe personal infection, throwing up, almost passing out. They had me so drugged up there, and I'm going to the doctor. What on earth is wrong with me? Never even had anybody in my home. Predators breaking in. They laughed at that. They were stabbing me in the hallway as I walked by. They were hiding in another room, and when I walked by, they just reach out and stab me with them. And she doesn't even remember being stabbed, and I thought I got stung in the hallway. I thought maybe B got in the house once. That's not funny. And people call me stupid for being a rape victim. Never seen, never talked to anybody, never even had my neighbors in my home. Had family, repair guys, installation guys. On August 8th of 18, midnight, there was a light in the outside security system. I called 911. The officers were silly. They came out and said, looks like an alien orb or an angry spirit, and told me to buy a dog and let a dog handle it. They didn't want bothered. Now, that's it. Predators preying on someone in their home. Where's that funny? It's not. It's satanic. Hmm? And then to find out Dave's crack-headed girlfriend, her drug-dealing dad, and his drug friends, photoshopping, washing in the shower in the other room, and horrible confessions. They said the other second guy Dave hired was that old man that showed up the first month of the FBI case. Showed up, I woke up with another bruise, I'm throwing up, I go down to Walmart 62, and this old man walks up in front of the police and the FBI. For every idle word you tell on us, I'll turn it on you. Try to leave, Dave, I'll list you a child molester. I'm like, who are you? He said, that bruise on your leg, I use sodium pentothal on you. It is illegal to drug somebody for a confession, let alone drug somebody up and tell them to say something stupid. And he said, you know what you said to me? You were wearing this one nightgown once, you bent over improperly, and they accidentally seen your butt, and you had a life of pink. I said, that'd be a moment of embarrassment. Then threatened me again. What do? He admitted he worked for Dave, and he was drugging me up and telling me to say lies. Then other ones where he had bruises before, throwing up, it wasn't the well water, it was us. We were drug beating, raping, and we had drugged you and told you to say this. We had drugged you and told you to say that. In 18, they admitted the doctor they were using was from the Florida drug cartel. And he's such a weirdo. He was having people grab him, kidnap him, take him down to Florida, keep him in rooms and run experiments on him. By 19, they admitted he never met me in person. So where the pretty Michelle's been telling on him that the doctor from before was not one of hers, worse for them, and they had lied, they already admitted that in 18. These people in 18 admitted they drugged me and told me to say it before, and they photoshopped all their lies. Raised some guy named Chris out of the room. They talked about him a lot. Don't know who he is. And they photoshopped everything. 18, 19. January 12th, 22, January 26th, 22 of a shower scene in the other room. Framing me March 24th, 22, 1:30. Made fun of Agent John June 7th, 23, that he'd actually fall for this. Admitted they used hypnotic drugs and drugged me and told me to say it before August 4th, 25, August 5th, 25, and August 7th, 25, and that they even have them tapes calling Agent John a coward. They admitted May 25th, 21, 8/9, 21, December 9th, 21, January 19th, 22, and February 2nd, 22 of drugs and told us it before onslaught of it. They made fun of everybody for falling for this November 18th, 22. And then repeatedly. It's just a drug scam from drug dealers. Officer Mark, August of 23, on a Tuesday, between noon and 1, that is documented, verified as framed before, and it was a drug cartel in my home before. So where they made up the most ridiculous things. They made up, now I have Dave taped and John, and the police even have Daniel taped. On 4th of July, John and his kids were an hour late. They had went to a park and lost track of time. We had already ate. Everybody's drinking coffee. They come in, and John wanted a cup of coffee, and I set it on the table, and I took my phone and took a picture of everybody sitting on the couch. Okay. I made their plates. They took 2 bites, yelled pillow fights, and ran to the basement. Okay. I throw the food back in the refrigerator, grab some bottles of water, and John and I walk outside. We can hear them laughing and giggling in the basement, having pillow fights. There's a family room downstairs. Okay. John, Dave, and Noah playing catch. And right in front of us. And Gabe's riding around on the lawnmower. And we could hear the other ones giggling and playing downstairs outside. I mean, the laughter and giggling, it was heartwarming. My family enjoying the home I worked so hard on. Well, in about 45 minutes, we got 2 more minutes of 4th. We went inside to get dessert. We dished it up, fairly sat down. And Dave comes in, John left. I said he didn't say goodbye. Well, he was in a hurry. He only stopped in for the kids to see the house. And they have places to go. It's the 4th. Okay? They made up a lie that they came upstairs. They're being Peking Toms, and they're looking in bathroom doors at people. You go to jail for that, even if you're under 18. Oh, and you were supposed to be weird with yourself. I'm not weird with myself, and that's disgusting. And they never came upstairs. There's a full bathroom downstairs. And like they said, these people are so dumb. They didn't realize photoshopping something like that. If it came out those kids were actually peeking in bathroom doors, they would go to jail for Peking Toms and listed sex offenders their whole life. And you got to think, with me being apparently raped up there, I was always using infection cream, and I'd have to wash it off and then put new on. And my personal area was so swollen, I would scream when I pee and have to keep redoctoring it. And trying to say they're peeking at you putting yeast infection cream on, they go to jail for that. Oh, they get money for being Peking Toms. Well, it never happened, and it's a good thing it never happened. Them peeking in the bathroom, watching someone go to the bathroom and doctoring sores. Because they would go to jail and be listed sex offenders. Even under 18, if you're caught peeking in bathroom doors, you go to jail. See, these people don't know the law. They thought they were being smart asses, photoshopping them. You don't get money for being perverts. You go to jail. Just like you don't get money for putting up button cameras in someone's home. You go to jail. There was, up at the Portage County Sheriff's Office, a correctional officer was arrested for getting explicit pictures of people and trying to extort money. He's in jail this last week. You can never extort money. And where their fake doctor, where that agent, he was bullying me on the phone and mocking me, how he had all the church people in their office, and he knew they were trying to kill me. And he didn't arrest them. He was aiding and abetting attempted murder. And it's already documented, verified, he was the one telling on that church that he knew they were trying to kill me because Strange called me a faker and it was a medication error, medical malpractice, almost killed me. And Strange just made up a baby lie 15 years before. They can't just kill people. And he's mocking me on the phone, how they've already been in his FBI office. They already know. And he didn't blame him for trying to kill me. And then made me beg for my life. And then made fun of me for some guy named Pete and some tape of Weird with yourself. I don't even know who he's talking about, what, because photoshopped washing by somebody I've never met. And then he said something else. Now, I never met him, so he has to be a black and blue mark. Then he said, I bet you're going to say you don't know anything about this psychiatrist for a scene for sexual disorder or wanting your brother. I almost yelled at him, why don't you stop lying? Why he's cackling at me like a jackass? I've never seen a psychiatrist for a sexual disorder. And I never wanted my brother. That's disgusting. But these crackheads think it's funny setting up scenarios like that. It's not my doctor. I doubt he's a doctor. Probably just saying. Like the retired Judge Pete Burns with Ludica was just some guy saying it was a retired judge. And I don't believe that person's an attorney that is representing any of these people trying to get money out of them. I think it's another drug dealer lying to people. Because a real attorney would tell them to shut up. And that just shows where they thought it was fucking funny, roofing me and telling me to say horrible, morbid stuff. Where April 16th, 23. Now, I didn't know anything. And people had yelled at him. People were yelling stuff at me and said they used amnesia drugs on her. What part of amnesia drugs? She'll never remember. She don't even remember these people. She'll never remember. You can be mean as you want, and she'll never remember. So they yelled it out. I ran and threw up. Had diarrhea. I went and talked to Jim, my one neighbor. He's like, Karen, that'd be awful if somebody played with you like that. I said I had real bruises. I was severely infected. I was throwing up. I was going to the doctor, and I was laying in the dirty well water. He said, Karen, that'd be horrible if somebody played with you like that. I said I was really sick. I had real marks, and I was really infected. And I thought it was a dirty well water causing everything. I said the doctor didn't even put it together. Okay? See, that's where they thought it was funny. We had someone drug her and tell her to say that. We'll have them verify it. You just go to jail as an accessory to having somebody drugged up and told to say something like that. April 16th, 23, where I was going to Danny and Jen, asking them if they knew anything. They didn't know anything. Kept going back and asking them more questions. They didn't know anything. April 16th, 23, across the parking lot. Danny and Jen walk up to my oldest grandson, Gabe, and his girlfriend, Shay. He said, I finally went to Dad. Ask him what on earth is going on. He said he had hired some guy named Pete on his own. Was beating his men in her home before. Pete has her frame. Pete has her tape the filthy, dirty statement. Not a doctor. Just some guy Dave hired. The drugs and told to say it. He's probably one of my rapists. Helping out in this drug scam. They actually thought if they walked in the FBI with their totally outrageous scam of a doctor, okay, right on Google, it is illegal for an attorney to approach a hospital or a doctor's office unless they're representing you, and only in a personal injury case, okay? And they have to have signed consent, picture ID. The hospital has to sign consent, picture ID. Verbally confirm it's you. Releasing just that personal injury. They can't have all your medical records. Okay? And that they can even talk to them. Then you have to redo it for medical records. It's 5 years for an attorney to go fishing for information. The hospital talks to them as 10 for both. And when their doctors talk to them, it's 10 for that. They give them medical records, it's 10. And where they said, a doctor from before taped her unaware, blah, blah, blah. They said it was just some guy named Pete hired on his own that I've never met that he drugged me up and told me to say stuff, and it's just a drug scam for his crackheaded girlfriend, her drug dealing dad that is in debt to drug dealers. So desperate, he thought this crackheaded scam of doctors breaking HIPAA violations, special permission from Tinkerbell to be in people's homes and have them drugged for fake confession because they got the right to drug them to get the truth out of them when they're drugging them and tell them to say stuff. Have them beat and raped under drugs. And then photoshopped a washing in his crackhead tapes because they think it's funny, and then drugged up and told to say terrible stuff. But they get money. Oh, we'll have them verify. Do you know they went around offering people millions of dollars extorted from the government? Endless amount of money they would extort from the government if they would back anything they did. Like they said, we caught them trying to pay off witnesses. That's a federal crime too. Dr. Haven is still open on Frank Road. He verified for the investigators that none of my children were ever abused, and that there was no sign of abuse at all. And they were very well taken care of. You know, I went in and seen Dr. Haven in like 2001, 2002. Been my kid's pediatrician since '84. He said, Karen, I never one time had to worry about you ever abusing your children. They come in here and they are fine. They're always well taken care of. He said, the only one I worry in that household about is you. You come in here with bruises. Big statement. You have to have documents that somebody was actually harmed. You can't just roofie somebody and tell them to say something horrible and being a smartass. And they're, like they said, how dumb are those church people doing this? Having her drugged up and told to say stuff and admitting to it, then say, oh, we'll have somebody verify they were part of having somebody drugged and told to say it. That just makes them an accessory to having somebody drugged and told to say stuff. And then there's no documented crime ever committed, because there wasn't any. On Thanksgiving of 18, I went to John. I said, where I heard his kid say that house wasn't meant for Grandma. It was meant for Auntie Shell and Papa, the crackhead girl. Okay. And they were saying other stuff in the basement. Didn't make any sense. And been around them since the 4th, where I only seen them 2 minutes at the table. And I was outside with everybody else. Okay? So, I went up to him. I went, what on earth is going on? He's like, I don't know. He said, I told Melissa, his ex-wife, that they just started their divorce. That you're going to be moving out, going through a divorce. She'll just have the kids make up something, but don't worry about it, Mom. No one can say anything bad about you. She'll have her church people make up something too. But don't worry about it. Nobody can say anything bad about you just because of the divorce. Shouldn't have said anything till it happened. But I did. And since I did, and nobody can say anything bad about you, don't worry about it. Within 2 years, when Melissa pulled a cheap stunt on him, he asked me if I'd be a reliable name on the court records to pick up Mackenzie Carrington and Noah. And I was working 2 jobs, rarely made it. And I didn't get off the first job, let alone the second job. And I couldn't afford to help him. And he's pleading with me, Mom, if you don't help me, I'll lose my kids forever. I said, John, I won't have a place to live. I barely make it now. And I said, I'm sorry, I can't afford it. I'll lose my apartment. But Mom, I need you to be that reliable name. Now, was he part of it? No. And was Danny part of the shower scene in the other room? No. He had to ask his dad. And nor was Josh. They told everybody, Josh was telling everybody I was a flasher. I went to him, I said, would you verify I never flashed you? He's like, I'd verify it. If people are going to make up stuff like that, Mom, I'd move away. See what I mean? They've just been running around lying. Lying. They call me dirty names, they yell, they lie to ignorant people. And I wish people would start yelling at them to stop your lying. We don't want to hear a drug scam from her ex-husband, crack-headed girlfriend's father that's a drug dealer, running a drug scam, thinking he's such a stupid idiot that the government would actually hand that crackhead money for harming people. Him and his group. They actually thought the FBI, they would scare me into calling the FBI. They'd open up a case. And they would hand them money with special permission stocking tapes, photoshopped a washing, hypnotic drugs, and told to say it. A fake dirty doctor breaking HIPAA. They don't know a law. One. Not one law. I don't know what drug they were on when they thought this up. They are so fucking stupid, they make your head hurt. But we're going to get all the money. We got all the... No, you're not going to get nothing. If somebody would actually do their damn job, you'd never be out in public. Now, think of that agent laughing at me for this. He was seen at Apostolic Church of Barberton telling people he didn't care I was being drugged, beaten, raped because some minister called me a faker 15 years before. And where he bullied me on the phone, that old guy, a guy in my old apartment on North Chapel in Louisville. How he was in the office when they met with that agent, and when that agent asked her about that doctor, she said she didn't know who he was. I still don't. I bet it's a drug dealer. And that guy saying, and he's turned her back over to us, said we didn't care. If she's going to lie that she didn't know who that doctor was, it's not my doctor. And he had her taped, the filthy, dirty statement where Dave said it was just some guy he hired, some guy named Pete that did it. Some drug dealer. Wasn't a doctor. Was a drug dealer. See what I mean? They can't even keep their lies straight. And since she wasn't, she lied to him, he turned her back over to said he didn't care what we did to her. On Google, if an agent turns a victim back over to the people harming them, it's attempted murder. He was the one outside. I want that agent to show up here. He needs to explain himself. He said he didn't care what we did to her, and the drug dealers hopped out. He arrested him. He needs to show up here and explain himself. Since that man thinks he's God, Agent John, I think you need to show up. Oh, I wouldn't say Louisville, but I'd have the sheriffs pick him up and bring him down to the sheriff's office. Meet him there. Start off with his rights and explain to him how many federal crimes he broke, including trying to trick an FBI agent with a pathetic scam. And that they don't know what HIPAA is. And it's illegal to drug anybody. It's illegal for doctors to keep them unaware. It's illegal for them to talk to a doctor to talk about you. It's illegal for them to pass out medical records. We're talking 35 years before the dirty doctor scheme. Drug confessions, photoshopping and washing, selling kitty porn. That idiot is probably one of my rapists. I'd never seen him until when he moved into my old apartment. Carl said, I bet he did rape you. You walk outside, Karen, he leers at you. He watches every move. Do you know that idiot? Where I lived in that apartment building for 6 years. Told everyone that my ex was messed up in drugs. A lot of people in town already knew because the cartel was there in 1920 and 21. Judge Peters Group from Florida. and that they were drug traders. Okay? And a lot of them have to log into the case. All right? Now, those people, he went to him. You need to be afraid, she lives here. Do you know what that doctor had her tapes in? It's supposed to be really filthy. Horrible. Out of the minds of a human trafficker. Drugged me up and supposed to have told me to say that. As far as I know, they could be lying. But I had road bruises. I was really throwing up, and I really never talked to anybody. Really never had anybody in my home. It's not funny when you roofie somebody and they don't know what happened to them. And they didn't see or talk to anybody. And those drugs cause sleepwalking. I talked to some guy online. He, from one of those dating apps years ago, he got roofied at a party. And he didn't know what happened to him, and his friend said he was talking out of his mind. And he don't know what happened to him that night. It happens to more people than what you think. What's worse is they're breaking in private homes. But he wants you to explain yourself, Agent John. His religious group was the first religious group to show up to help out in this. So he knew that it was drug dealers. He knew it was Dave's girlfriend's dad that to drug cartel. They knew they were going to be, he probably sold little kids for sex slaves and to be murdered. He was part of human trafficking me, running a drug scam on the FBI to extort money. Admitted they hired drug dealers to harm me. He wants to be a human trafficker. I think he needs your attention. Now, I would like my money. It is illegal for an FBI agent to ever tell anybody they can't say anything. It cannot be in a court order. It is tampering with a witness, and obstruction of justice is 20 years sentence. It's illegal for you to withhold my money. It's another 20 years. I did notify the White House. They do know the law. And I've never got paid. I need a medical card and new name for me and social, a new name and social for me and Carl. A letter of thank you would be nice. I got you Judge Peters out of Florida, Buffalo, New York, Michigan cartels, California. I got information on the Kingsman from Texas. Dear God, I got you Turkasami. For Michael Peterson bragging how they were smuggling oil into the United States. Got enough information they could call down there. The bill of sale, large money transfers, where he was leaving, what airport, what time, where he was staying, where the port's coming back, state was buying the smuggled oil. Not bad for a little old lady. If it wasn't for Karen around the house, Karen's will, FBI informant, it was your way into the cartels. Ought to be like your little golden girl. I'd like my money. I want to help. My son John started a church. I want to be able to help his church. I want to help Danny and Jen, since they were nice enough to help Carl, that he could still go see his farm. Help him pay off that debt they took on. I'd like to help Josh. And I'd like to make sure that Crystal had a nice car to get to work. Or not work, but she's going to start college nursing in the fall. And with the weather here, I earned that money 100 times over. Get you information on Dave and the churches? My ass. Trumped that 100 times, didn't I? I not only got you information on them, but cartels that I didn't even know were involved. People I didn't even know existed. Till they announced themselves. I'm going to go ahead and upload this.